This is Ron Finkelstein, and welcome to the Institute for Business Growth. This Sales Accelerator podcast was created to share best practices that allow businesses to grow sales and increase revenue. Each week, we have an expert on who has implemented specific strategies and tactics and programs in their business that resulted in phenomenal sales growth and increased revenue. As a reminder, go to instituteforbusinessgrowth.org and download your free report, 11 Reasons People Won't Buy From You. Again, instituteforbusinessgrowth.org. Today, we have Bob Sullivan, president of InfoGrow. Bob, how are you doing today?
Fine, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Bob, tell us a little bit about you, your company, and what you do.
Okay. Well, InfoGrow, we're really in the space of how do we help organizations drive profitability through increasing, more productive customer engagement. And we do that really through our building our Microsoft Dynamics CRM systems and also integrating marketing automation. And we've been in this space now for 26 years doing this kind of work.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's been fun.
Good. So for those who don't know, tell us what marketing automation is.
Marketing automation is the technology behind where you're pulling together all of the, not only the email efforts, but also now the landing page, the social media, the Google Analytics, all into one place to now build a behavioral score of what this prospect is doing while they're interacting with you to now tell the account rep it's time to call them. So you're not trying to really talk to everybody. You're trying to score, rank the people you should be dealing with first, because you can't deal with everybody.
So it takes everything all into one place and gives you a comprehensive view of the customer.
Right.
What is the biggest problem that you're dealing with today? You were talking earlier about a lot of your clients are not having, not necessarily your clients, but there's a lot of unsuccessful installs in CRM. One of the studies I read not long ago was that less than 36% of all CRM installs are done correctly.
We're seeing that. I'm going to say that because we work nationwide, and a good third of our business is picking up installations that have been done, poorly after 9 or 12 months. The client's in a position of where they're thinking about, well, it's got to be the software's fault. Let's throw it out and start over. And we're coming in and rebuilding them and relaunching them.
Wow. So what is the customer using CRM for?
Really what they are using it for is a lot of them will put in CRM installations that drive really their sales, to understand what their field sales people are doing, to build a pipeline, to really try to focus in on that effort. The ones that are getting the most value out of CRM have really gone to the point of where they're tying marketing, sales, and service together to get that one view of the relationship they have with the customers. And actually, frankly, we're seeing that marketing is a better deployment of CRM, has a better chance of being successful when marketing's deploying CRM than even the sales team. Because marketing's responsible for then lead generation, tracking the lead generation all the way through the sales process, and they're also responsible for then retention. And so them having data and keeping the data correct is very important. We've got a number of organizations that actually marketing is driving where the sales rep should be going next.
Wow.
And giving them that kind of emphasis.
Well, one of the problems that I've seen is that there's a disconnect between marketing and sales. So marketing is generating either the wrong kinds of leads or sales is not providing the right feedback to marketing to help them address that. Will CRM help them address that issue?
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many conversations I've been brought into just on that issue. Marketing has been told this is what is a qualified lead. They go out and generate those kind of leads, and then the sales reps don't do them. I'm having a number of partners that we work with who are in the agency space for doing lead generation, being real frustrated that they're generating the leads, but they're losing the contract because the sales reps don't follow up on the leads they generate. CRM puts those out there in front of people so they can see who's actually performing and who's not. And if they're not performing, it gets escalated or assigned to somebody else then.
Well, one of the biggest challenges, CRM is complex, or can be complex.
Yes.
And it's not just about tools and techniques. Tell me a little bit about how you align the technology and the people and the processes to help ensure success.
Well, most organizations think that technology is the number one thing that CRM is all about. And really, from our perspective, that's only 20% of the equation. 40% is for the people, another 40% is the processes. And those often get left behind. They're not documenting exactly what their expectation is of how their processes need to change, or or can they define their process even, whether it's a sales process or marketing process. And they're also not talking about CRM as far as change behaviors. What are they expecting to have to be changed then to be successful at this?
So when you say change behaviors, that's the people side of the house?
People side of the house. The people side of the house.
Behaviors are the toughest thing to change.
Well, you've got users at different levels. Mm-hmm. And often the idea is that, people want to be productive. They want to make the most of their time while they're at work. People aren't trying to look busy all day and do nothing. But often, they're in multiple systems, doing multiple data entry, not finding information they need easily, and that frustrates them. CRM systems should be bringing all that information into one place to not only have one view of the relationship, but also then one place that the users are going to find that information, whether it's ERP information, whether it's customer service issues that have come up, or it's the sales side, or it's the sales pipeline that they're working.
Yeah, I have a customer right now I'm working with, and the sales reps are all 65 and over. Mm-hmm. They're all making multiple $100,000 a year. Sure. There has been no CRM system in place that has been workable mm-hmm. to capture that tribal knowledge. Right. So I'm interviewing each of the sales reps, and I'm working with the president and the CEO. And this is a fairly big company. It's about $50 million. Yep. And it's how are we going to transition out the old sales reps so that they feel good that all the work that they did over 20 or 30 years is protected, their customers are protected, sure. and take care of them as they transition into retirement and make sure the company can effectively handle all the business that we think will come out of that. And one of the problems, talking about behaviors, is I'm talking to the sales reps. They're not using CRM because it's kludgy. It doesn't work the way they do. It has all kinds of technology problems inherent in it. So they've delegated it to the customer service side
sure,
of the house.
Sure.
Do you see that kind of problem often?
I see it a lot. And it's really because whoever installed the CRM system probably wasn't meeting with those sales reps to understand what they need to do and how to help them be productive. Yeah, there's going to be people you have to work around, who are maybe retiring, who don't know how a computer really works or wants to be bothered with it. But really, the goal of a CRM system is if you make those people productive, guess what happens for the organization? You're going to sell more.
Well, lots of times, has your experience been if management's trying to save money, so they'll cut cost a little bit by not allowing the vendor, the CRM company, to talk to the sales reps? Do you see that happening often?
We get that kind of, it's funny you mention that. I've got one now that I'm working with who said, we want to hire you to come in and be our coach because we really don't understand. We really don't know what we don't know about CRM. Mm-hmm. And so I laid out the blueprint. This is what needs to be done. Well, we don't want to do all that. We just want to fix these two items. And I said, well, you're not going to get to where you need to do. Have you defined what your expected results are for CRM system? Well, we kind of know it. Well, no, you can't kind of know it. You've got to be able to have those specific and have them as measurable results and then work towards them. Otherwise, these tools just drift along, and in 9-10 months or so, you'll think it's the vendor's fault or the software's fault, and you want to replace both.
Well, it's really interesting. What can one expect as a return on investment if a CRM system is implemented correctly?
Well, the industry's saying if you're doing a CRM, correctly, you should be seeing, a five times return for that CRM system in a 3-year period. That's what we're seeing out there as being. Now, I'm seeing some people achieve that, in less than 3 months, and I'm seeing others take a little longer. But a lot of organizations that we're finding is that, a CRM system is not a designation as much as it is a journey. Your systems are going to change. Your processes are going to change. This tool has to change with that. And you have to recognize that this is a critical, complex tool in your organization. A machine shop would not buy a machine and add to the shop floor without not knowing how much that's going to return to them every hour, even down to every piece that they make out of it. Yet a lot of times, the client or even the seller of CRM systems will go into this process not knowing that for what they expect from CRM. And then they're somehow suddenly surprised it's not meeting expectations. Well, they never really were set. They thought it was just, okay, we just need something to get started. No, you really got to think this through and understand what you're trying to achieve and have it measurable.
Is it your experience that CRM is the new ERP system for white-collar companies, professional services firms, people who don't typically have an enterprise resource management system, but the CRM system is taking that role?
Well, it very much is, but also what we're doing now, especially with the Microsoft Dynamics tool, we're integrating all of that. Dynamics 365 is making one platform to where you have sales and the financials all connected together. So now we can if we're seeing a company that is a major account that maybe is buying $50,000 from us on an annual basis, and here we are halfway through the year and they've only bought 10. Well, the CRM system should be jumping off the page at them with red flags and bells and whistles. Somebody has to be looking at this. And that's the connections we're now building in between the ERP and the CRM system.
That'd be huge. I had a client where we put a 3-year sales plan in place, and we looked at some of the key accounts, and one of the large accounts did $800,000 with them the prior year. The current year we were looking at was under $200,000.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, you got to call them. You got to. Oh no, it's just the way they work. No, call them. Pick up the phone. Let's find out what's going. It turned out that they were following the company's internal processes to communicate with vendors, but the purchasing agents weren't following it because the system was too kludgy. So once we figured out the best way to communicate them with their help, they were back up to well over $1.2 million in a very short period of time.
We just had one recently in terms of a company that their ERP system was kind of old, and it was putting out quotes. All the quotes were coming from internally. Mm-hmm. It was putting quotes out to the rep, but it took a day and a half or so for the quotes to get to the rep. Things were closing before that. They didn't know about it. So we knocked that down to 15 minutes. The ERP system is now connected at the hip to the CRM tool. As soon as it sees a quote in there that's over $5,000, it's alerting the sales rep by an activity that they need to call these people now. And that's significantly changed how they're able to do business than once they're starting to win in terms of that process.
That's fantastic. Let me summarize a little bit. What you're really saying is that most of the CRM systems that you've been working on are fixing bad installations. And the CRM systems are really designed to both help you find new customers as well as retain your existing customers so you know what they're doing. CRM is just the tool. There's technology, people, and processes behind it. And believe it or not, 40% of it is making sure the right behaviors are identified so you know how to do the system. And then lastly, the return on investment, if it's done well, can be 5 times your return in 3 years. That's a lot of money.
I think it is. I think it is in terms of they're putting a lot of money into these tools to begin with. And I think there should be an expectation they're seeing that kind of return out of them.
It's amazing that people spend so much money and a lot of those licenses sit on the shelves and they're never implemented. That's unfortunate. Bob, tell us what's next in on your agenda, in your business plan. What do you want to share with our listeners?
Well, we're having a lot of fun now is a re-release of a product that we call Smart Maps, CRM Smart Map. And what it's done is it's put mapping into CRM. So now as an account rep, I can look at all my prospects and customers on a street map, build a call plan, and push that call plan out to my cell phone and be on the road. Wow. And while I'm out on the road, I can look up to see who else is around me. So if I've got a missed appointment, or instead of sitting, the half hour, 35 minutes, or hour inside Starbucks, I can see who else is around me, connect with them, and try to get in an appointment. So we're putting all that really at their fingertips now.
So it sounds like one of the studies that we've done is that we found 30% of a sales rep's time is spent in admin. And what you're saying with this new mapping tool is a lot of that goes away because you're going to deliver to them the exact route they need to see for what they need to do. And if it changes, they have all the information at their fingertips.
Well, a big part of it's not only reducing that cost of sale, like cutting that in terms, but also just think what happens if your rep is able to make one more appointment a week. Only one more. That's 50 more appointments a year. We'll give them those 2 weeks off for good behavior.
Right.
So they got 50 more appointments a year. What's your percentage of closing now? If that's 20%, then how many of those actually become sales? That's all to the bottom line without any additional cost in terms of having a new sales rep and doing that. So that's what we're really trying to drive.
Oh, that's fantastic.
More appointments.
That's fantastic. And that's the tough part, is the appointments. So, Bob, if somebody wants to reach you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Best way is either phone. It's 330-929-1353.
Say it again in case our listeners don't have a pencil.
330-929-1353. Or visit our website, which is InfoGrowCorp.com. And those are the best ways to see what we're up to and how to connect with us.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
If you want to learn more about how you can apply these best sales practices in your business, go to the instituteforbusinessgrowth.org and download your free report, 11 Reasons People Don't Buy From You.